Good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending on where you are, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Guile, and you have walked headfirst into the IMBA Cup 2. I am picking up the baton from TA for Life. He's been very diligently covering the first half, or more than the first half of the tournament while I've been away, but he's definitely earned a rest, so he's asked me to do the rest of the tournament, which I am only too happy to oblige. And this is going to be a match from the losers bracket, which is featuring Tag Uber and Lu-Xun, two very, very seasoned vets. They've been doing pretty well actually, but it's one of those games where you're never safe from the losers bracket. Anything can happen, especially at this level. So Lu-Xun, I believe, won the last IMBA Cup, if I'm correct in saying. Is probably pretty surprised to be here, but anyway, this is going to be a match on HARDFFA, which I gotta say, it's a very interesting pick. It's a 5x5k map for those that don't know, and unusually for a 5x5k it can play host up to 8 people. You can see the different base sections perimetering around the edge of the water, and it can lead to quite hectic games, but this is going to be obviously a 1v1, and keeping within the tradition of this season, going for slightly out of the box maps, going for something a little different, which I like. It's a little unusual. It's unconventional. Anyone wants to see Theta's Passage run over and over and over again. So, yep, it's the tournament director, I believe, is actually Lu-Xun. So good job on that, whoever was actually deciding the maps. But anyway, two different styles have happened here. Lu-Xun elected to go for a naval factory first and is nabbing some of these mass points, whereas Tag Uber has gone directly south and is focusing immediately on some land spams. Got about 7 or 8 factories, or 7 queued up, 8 there, and he's pulled out one mobile light artillery to try and put some pressure on this naval factory, but obviously wasn't concentrating. He could have microed it out of the way of that T1 engineer from Lu-Xun and saved it. But that's not the case now. Lu-Xun has headed directly east and gone straight for an air factory and got an early bomber out. So he's obviously going to be trying to do some early bomber harass. Looks like he's heading straight down, and see what he can see. We'll see how good his micro is. If he's paying attention, we'll probably go and try and pick up that engineer, I imagine. Or is he going to use it to scout first? No, he's going straight over for the main base, having a little look-see. But already Inti's out for Tags Uber, so that's probably not even going to get one bomb off before that plummets into the water or the land. Another mobile light T1 artillery coming up to do some harass. This engineer is on his way to try and reclaim it, but this time Uber is paying attention and he micros it out of the way. Still producing bombers from Lu-Xun. He's moved his commander down to pick up these little mass points down here. Meanwhile, Spam and Uber's commander are rushing up to meet him. If I just slow that down a little bit, see what they can see. So they've got image, they know there's something there. Haven't spotted the commander yet. So very, very early con contact, but you expect that on a map such as this, which has a large circular ring, and it's a 1v1 and it's only 5x5k. You can see he was trying to build a land factory there, Lu-Xun, but that didn't get finished, which is just as well for Uber's sake, because if like to have a little fire base set up here, we're going to put a lot of pressure on it. A very early con battle, and in terms of T1 units, Lu-Xun's a little outmatched. You can see he's got a frigate here that's doing some bombardment on the army from the shoreline. Lu-Xun just making his way into the water, taking a lot of artillery fire. Almost down to 50% HP, but Uber not far behind him. Lu-Xun working on some spam of his own, but hasn't got enough to directly challenge him, and very wisely elected to get a point defense up so Uber can't just run right into the center of his base. Inti's scouting well over the main base of Lu-Xun. You can see up here Lu-Xun has got one factory up and running, he's studying another one, so definitely wants to try and secure the top and the side. But Uber now pressing very, very heavily into the bottom of Lu-Xun's base, trying to do as much harassment as possible. Lu-Xun working on a nice mix of tanks and light artillery, which is always wise. It's never good when one person just goes artillery or tanks. They generally get outcomposed. But now a naval factory has gone up for Uber, and Lu-Xun has decided he doesn't want to let that go so easy, so he's brought in one of his frigates to try and dispatch it before they can get too many units out. But there is already one T1 sub on the field, and so it's looking likely he's going to get very far with that. But meanwhile, the commanders are down to, you're looking at 3,000 hit points on Lu-Xun, and 3.5, 3 for Tag Uber. Very, very low, and Lu-Xun needs to get out there. He's walking directly into artillery fire. He could go down. Oh, it's a very early finish, and it is a tie. So that would be why there were 2 matches listed for this. Obviously, it's a draw, so they obviously rerun it, and I have got the next one for you, and that was incredibly short. 6 minutes, 54 in-game minutes, so I'm not even going to bother doing a second video for that. I'll just load it straight up. Where are we at here? So that'll be the replay. So very interesting little little fracas there, and it's a bizarre map for a 1v1. You just don't see play often like that. You often don't see matches come to an early conclusion like that. But it's kind of interesting, especially the last few maps have been quite large as well. So it's nice to have some games that end relatively quickly. Let's see what they elect to do at the beginning of this one. Lu-Xun mimicking exactly what he did last time, and Tag Uber doing the same. Lu-Xun building his naval factory in almost exactly the same place, and Tag Uber heading directly south. But this is obviously, whoever loses this is going to be out of the tournament. Well, I say yeah, out of the tournament. But this is the loser bracket. So the chances have run their course for anybody who is in here. Now that's very interesting. He's heading directly south. That's going to put him in very close proximity to Uber. And looks like a pretty cheesy opening from Lu-Xun. That's going to really not. It's a nice play. I mean, he's got his factory up first. He's got this first engineer up. He has a mass point. Meanwhile, Uber is still, because of his travel time, has only just completed his land factory. He's spotted him on the thing, on the radar, so he's immediately trying to get a point defense up. This is going to be very interesting indeed. Lu-Xun coming down, reclaims the engineer that's popped out of the land factory very, very quickly, and is now reclaiming the point defense faster than it can be built. Needs to focus on that artillery, which he does. It's the cheesiest opening I have ever seen from any Subcom game ever. That's unreal. I would be fuming if I was Uber. It doesn't sound like he's too happy about it, and that won't complete. It's just feeding mass to Lu-Xun. He's got no mass, no energy, and that is game over, and Tag Uber concedes. So I've got to say, what a massively deflating match. But I guess well done to Lu-Xun. A very cheeky steal into the next round. Commiserations, Tag Uber. It always hurts to lose, especially like that. But yeah, so it is possible. You can cheese in Subcom. I thought it was very much more a kind of Warcraft, Starcraft type of thing, but no, it is possible. On certain maps, you can be a douche. No offense, Lu-Xun. Alright guys, I will catch you for the next game. So for now, signing out.